Been a good run, but season over. Of course, y'all know I had to work. I had to work Saturday, so I couldn't watch the game. I did record it. I just finished watching it. I kind of knew every play that happened because I was on my phone looking at the live feed, but it's a whole nother story when you watch the game. Of course, I got me a new Eagles hat as a Pollyanna present for one of my coworkers. They had me for Pollyanna. Of course, y'all know I represent, so I wrote down that one is something Eagles. Kind of hurts that he was actually a Cowboys fan. They had to buy me a gift, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hate the Cowboys, but I can't hate on the Cowboys, man. We did our thing on Thanksgiving, and it was our division for the taking, and we caught a tough break. Seattle, Dallas came and handled biz, so we can't really fault nobody but ourselves, man. The fact that we let the division slip away, and now we gotta watch another team. We gotta watch another team, man, especially a hated division rival, run off with the division and into the playoffs while we ponder another off season. But anyway, man, as far as the game, man, it was a pretty good game. It wasn't a bad game. I mean, it was a lot of penalties and everything like that, man, but just like we let the division slip out of our hands, man, we let this game slip away too, because we had every opportunity to close this game out. And of course we had the costly turnover on the last drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and run through these stats real quick. We pretty much won in every category in this game. We just had that costly interception at the end, and the 2 missed field goals hurt us too. But anyway, as far as first downs, we had 30. Washington had 21. We ran 84 total plays. Washington ran 54. Total yards in this game, we had 508. Washington had 320. Sanchez actually had more passing yards than Washington had total yards. He had 374 yards passing. RG3, 220. We had 134 yards rushing. Washington had 100. Penalties killed us. We had 13 penalties for 102 yards. They had 3 penalties for 15 yards. Both teams had 2 turnovers. Of course, Sanchez had a fumble and an interception. RG3 had an interception, and of course they had that fumble on special teams, Andre Roberts. So that's that. Passing, Sanchez 37 for 50, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. RG3 16 for 23, 220 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Shady McCoy 22 rushing attempts for 88 yards. His longest run was 22 yards, average 4 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Darren Sproles 4 for 24. His longest run was 12. Sanchez actually ran the ball a few times, 5 times for 22 yards. Alfred Morris, another runner we kept under 100 yards, 21 attempts, 83 yards. His longest run was 28 yards, though, and that was for his touchdown. RG3 had 5 rushes for 11 yards. Silas Reed, 1 rush, 4 yards. Darrell Young, he killed us on a goal as far as goal line stances, because he only had 2 yards rushing, but they were two 1-yard touchdown runs at the goal line. So as far as quantity, it didn't matter. The quality of his runs hurt us. Zach Ertz led all our receivers with 15 receptions for 115 yards. Riley Cooper had 2 touchdowns, 53 yards on 5 catches. Macklin had 62 yards on 4 catches. Jordan Matthews, 58 yards on 3 catches. Darren Sproles, 43 yards on 6 catches. Shady McCoy, 28 yards on 3 catches. And Brent Selleck had 1 catch for 15 yards. Deshaun Jackson hurt us with his catches because they kind of led to touchdowns, but he didn't have any touchdowns. But he did average 31.5 yards per catch on 126 yards on 4 catches. Pierre Garçon, of course, that catch he had late in the fourth quarter kind of hurt us. But above all, he was 4 catches for 61 yards, so he was pretty much held in check. Andre Roberts was held in check, 1 catch for 14 yards. Logan Paulson, the tight end, 1 catch, 6 yards. Chris Thompson, 3 catches for 5. Jordan Reed was held in check, 2 catches for 5. Darrell Young had 1 catch for 3 yards. So, of course, you know, their offense picked on Bradley Fletcher in this game like Dallas did last week. So, now, as far as defense, Michael Kendricks led our team with 10 tackles. He had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Jenkins, Brandon Graham, and Acho each had 6 tackles. Connor Barwin, Fletcher, Cedric Thornton. Connor Barwin, Bradley Fletcher, Cedric Thornton, Brandon Boykin each had 4 catches. Casey Matthews, Fletcher Cox, Benny Logan each had 3 tackles. Of course, Cox had the sack on RG3 too. We sacked RG3 twice. Washington, Ryan Clark, 15 tackles. Will Compton, 15 tackles. Perry Riley Jr., 12 tackles. Phillip Thomas, 7 tackles. Now, they had 3 sacks on Mark Sanchez. Carrigan, of course, had the sack fumble. Bashar Braylon, he had 1 interception. Trevardo Williams, he had 1 sack, and Jackson Jeffco had a sack. Now, kicks. Cody Parkey, he's usually automatic all year. He missed 2 kicks. He missed 2 kicks Saturday, which kind of proved to be costly once you look at the final score. Had he made those 2, it would have been a different game. But judging by the score, mathematically, we would have won the game had he made both of those. Donnie Jones, 2 punts for 72 yards. So the offense was moving the ball. He only had 2 punts. So the offense was moving the ball. We were getting in field goal range. Cody Parkey just missed them. So Kai Forbeth was 2 for 2 on his field goal attempts. Kicked all 3 of his extra points. Washington punted Tress Way, 3 punts, 133 yards. As far as returns, Darren Sproles, 2 punts, 5 yards. Per punt return, Josh Huff, 3 kick returns, average of 21.7. Nobody returned a punt for Washington. And Andre Roberts had 4 kick returns for 23.8 on average. Now, to get into this game, like I said on my last analysis, man, if Billy Davis doesn't keep safety up over the top on Deshaun Jackson, we're going to get hammered. Now, I looked at both those plays where Jackson had the long completions, the long catches. On the first play, I noticed Malcolm Jenkins, I think they were in cover 1. Malcolm Jenkins was actually the deep man. Because as I looked at the play, he's not on the screen. So he was the lone safety back buried deep. And at first glance, it looks like, you know, of course Bradley Fletcher, he did get beat badly by Jackson. But if you look at that play, Jenkins was the deep man. He just now I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look and you count all of the Eagles players on this play, this was the first Deshaun Jackson long completion in the first quarter. You only see 10 Eagles. So the odd man out is Malcolm Jenkins. He's back deep. Now when I watched this play, initially I thought, where the hell was the safety over the top? Now, I believe it was Alfred Morris, if I'm not mistaken. Alfred Morris came from in the backfield and he ran a route over the middle, which Malcolm Jenkins was in the middle, and he had Connor Barwin beat, which made Malcolm Jenkins flinch to Alfred Morris and not shift to his left to cover Jackson over the top. So initially I just thought Bradley Fletcher got burned, but they did have safety help over the top. But Jenkins he pursued Alfred Morris because he had Connor Barwin beat. So that left Bradley Fletcher out on the island. So that's how that play worked out. Now on the next completion Jackson had, the long completion, Nate Allen was the deep man. And of course, you know his instincts. His instincts ain't really that good in pass coverage. He did have an interception yesterday because he finally played Jackson's route right. But then Jackson had another long completion when Nate Allen was over the top. So that just goes to show you like how iffy he is in coverage. As far as Mark Sanchez, man, Sanchez did every possible thing he could have did in this game right, except the costly interception at the end of the game. Now, I looked at the interception and it was a badly thrown ball because it was thrown at the ground. And like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I initially thought that, oh my God, he cost us the game. It was terrible, but an interception thrown at the ground. Macklin went down for it. Bashard Braylon went down for it. Braylon just came up with the ball initially off of the ground. It did touch the ground, but he had control of it. So I mean, it was a dumb thrown ball, badly thrown ball, and an even more costly interception. But it wasn't the kind of interception I initially thought. Like, oh, he just threw a damn interception and cost us the game. It was one of those freak plays where you just come up with an interception, luckily, because that was a lucky ass interception. But the fact that the magnitude of this game and everything, it was a couple of missed touchdowns. Well, not sure touchdowns, but of course you had the Ertz pass on 3rd and goal. I looked at that play too. It wasn't necessarily a deflected pass by Perry Riley Jr. It's more so Ertz. It just bounced off his hands. I call it a drop because it was a drop, because nobody touched it but Ertz. But at the same time, like, I mean, it was a tough break. You know what I mean? We did have Sproles open. Like, Sproles went out. And, of course, you had the guy on him, so he might have tackled Sproles, but Sproles might have made him miss. You never know. But that would have been a safer pass, but it is what it is, man. Like, I mean, the season's over, so all you can do is reflect on it. As far as our defense, man, a lot of people, we need a new secondary and everything. I believe we do need pieces. Like, I believe we need another strong safety, and I believe we need another cornerback. And we do have those guys on the roster that might be the future guys. So I don't know what Chip Kelly's going to do about that. But Cary Williams, man, I know a lot of people are hard on him, and a lot of people think I might be soft on him. It was a stupid penalty to get a unnecessary roughness. But looking at that play again, like I said, I didn't see it. So I just figured Cary Williams did some dumb shit and got a play costly penalty for nothing. Now, he should have kept his cool. But the thing is, like, in that kind of scenario, okay, it's dumb to get a penalty like that. But they was in field goal range. You know what I mean? And it could have been costly, but it wasn't. So once they kicked the field goal anyway, like, I'm like, whatever with that penalty. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just how I felt about that. As far as the roughing the passer penalty they called on Brandon Graham tackled RG3 from behind, and they said made contact with his helmet. I couldn't really see the play, but it looked like a bullshit call to me. Vinny Curry's roughing the passer play, his first one. Now the second one, he did touch RG3 helmet. They're gonna call that every time, but his off roughing the passer penalty was bullshit too. Like, sometimes the refs just call bullshit ass plays. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you think back to if somebody did that to Michael Vick, they wouldn't call shit. So, I mean, we caught a couple tough breaks just being aggressive. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this game was in our hands and we just let it slip away. So, we can't be mad at nobody but ourselves. And as far as the run game was pretty good. I mean, Shady didn't get over 100 yards, but as you count everybody that ran, Chris Polk didn't even play this game. I don't even think he played a snap. But I what I'm saying, it was pretty hard for it was a well played game by our offense. Like I said, we dominated in every aspect of the game, and even won the time of possession battle. So when you look at the stats on paper, it doesn't you wouldn't think that we lost the game. Now, as far as how they played, they game plan just like everybody else did, but for the most part, we even won that battle. It's just Bradley Fletcher against Deshaun Jackson was the key matchup. As far as Alfred Morris, he didn't really do much. Kendricks was on him. As far as Pierre Garçon, he didn't really do much either. I mean, he had 4 catches and he did have that big catch, which they added 15 yards to the end of because Curry, of course, hit RG3 in his helmet. So that might have proved to be costly. Brandon Boykin on Andre Roberts, he had 1 catch. Brandon Boykin actually covered Jordan Reed pretty good too. I heard Bradley Fletcher was benched in the 4th quarter for Nolan Carroll, and he came back in a dime. He wound up having a good pass deflection, even though it bounced off his helmet. Who else? I think Fletcher Cox was good too. I mean, he didn't have his usual like bunch of tackles. Kendricks is always a tackler. Kendricks had a good game. As far as Acho and Casey Matthews, they was pretty solid. Like our defense's game was pretty solid, aside from the costly catches to Deshaun Jackson. But above all, we did really play a solid defensive game. Connor Barwin didn't register a sack this game, which was crazy because with their offensive line and everything that was being talked about, I thought we would just dominate them guys up front, coming off the line of scrimmage, and we only sacked RGD twice. But that's the gift he had in his legs to escape the pocket, which we had a concern about. But one matchup I want to talk about is Brandon Graham versus Trent Williams. Now, Trent Williams wasn't 100%, but I watched Brandon Graham this game. Brandon Graham is a beast coming off of that edge, man. Like, I know Trent Williams was hurt and everything, but Brandon Graham is he's a strong, dominant, bull rush type dude. Like, he was pushing Trent Williams back. And he has to have him by at least 60, 70 pounds. Like I said, he wasn't 100%, and it might have been different had he been 100%. But this is why I like Brandon Graham, and we need to extend him because he's a fucking beast. He's a bull rushing beast, and we need that guy here for the next 4 or 5 years. So we need to get him extended. Vinny Curry had a good game. He was pressuring RG3 all game, and I mean, of course, 2 of his hits on was roughing the passer calls and everything, but for the most part, he was his usual self, getting at the quarterback. Cedric Thornton, Benny Logan, and Fletcher Cox, they did a great job containing the run, held Alfred Morris to under 100 yards. On our offense, man, I really can't complain about nothing but Sanchez's interception at the end of the game. And like I said, that was just a freak fucking play. Like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be when I watched the game. But either way, it was costly, and it ultimately wound up costing us the damn game. But special teams was pretty good. I mean, they did force another turnover again. Unfortunately, we didn't capitalize off it because Cody Parkey did miss the field goal, so that was a tough break. But above all, man, we lost this game due to the key missed field goals and the turnover in the end of the game. I'm gonna do another video with you guys, a Q&A. I'm gonna get y'all guys questions that y'all want to ask me and do a video on that in a little while. But that's basically it, man. We gotta look forward to the off season now, so we really need to touch up our secondary. Me personally, now a lot of people ask me this. And people might think I favorite Cary Williams, but what I like about Cary Williams, a lot of people talk about his unnecessary penalties and everything. If Seattle can win the Super Bowl leading the league in penalties, I cannot complain about aggressive guy, man. Like, he's aggressive. He's physical. He don't take shit from anybody. And he did have a rough start to the year, but for the most part, Kyrie Williams been solid pretty much the second half of the season. And people want to complain about penalties. Well, as a team, we had, 12 or 13 penalties altogether, and only one of them got called on Kyrie Williams. So, like, it's like you want an aggressive guy, he's going to get penalized. You know what I'm saying? Now, Bradley Fletcher, I can't defend. Like, I can't defend him with anything. So, I mean, Nate Allen, Bradley Fletcher, I can't really defend those guys anymore, man. But Malcolm Jenkins, for the most part, he's going to be our safety for, the next 2 years. I think he signed a 3-year deal, so he got 2 more years left with us. We need to find a solid, strong safety, either whether he's in the organization now or whether we draft him. We need a solid, strong safety with instincts, better instincts, to pair with Malcolm Jenkins. Kyrie Williams, he's due $6.5 million in base salary next year. For a guy like him, a lot of people might think that's a lot. I would keep him and let him play his last year here because he still has that veteran experience. And if you're going to bring in another guy to put next to him or promote a guy from within the organization, somebody in the secondary has to have chemistry. And Kyrie Williams and Malcolm Jenkins, they have a season now. So you need 1 or 2 guys with that's on the same page in the secondary. Like, if you put a bunch of new guys back there with Malcolm Jenkins, it's going to take a while for them guys to get chemistry. Unless, like I said, Nolan Carroll, he might start next year. So if you could put him there, that'll be cool. But you need guys that got that chemistry, man. Now, I don't know what Chip Kelly's agenda is. I don't know if he's still putting together the team that he wants or whatnot. But I think Nolan Carroll, Kyrie Williams, Malcolm Jenkins, and I know they said they've been trying Jalen Watkins out at safety. You got Earl Wolf if he's back next year. You got Ed Reynolds on the practice squad. Like, you can promote from within and work like that, but I would still draft a ferocious safety in the draft if I can get him in the first round. Like, we got a bunch of guys on this team that's just been shelved this year that Chip Kelly did draft. So I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what his agenda is. But my agenda would be, if you can get a ferocious, vicious hitting safety, let Billy Davis keep his job. But Billy Davis did a lot of dumb shit this year that fans couldn't understand. If he's going to be like that next year, lenient and everything, we need a guy with a Belichick mindset. Like, you want to play bad, you're going on the bench. Like, we need these guys to play up the par, and we need some time to be stern and tough love with these guys so they could come out. I mean, these are not babies. These is multi-millionaire guys. So we need them to learn their lesson if they're playing bad. And we need a no-nonsense Billy Davis next year if he's going to be here next year. So, that's basically it, man. That's my take on it. Let me know what y'all guys think, man. Comment below. As usual, Eagles all day. Of course, we got to look forward to another offseason. It's sad, but, I mean, I'm never going to stop bleeding green. I know you guys never going to stop bleeding green. I'm saying the Army is there. The Army's going to always be there. And we're going to ride with our boys. You know what I'm saying? To the death of me. You know what I'm saying? Till the wheels fall off. And that's just how it's going to be, man. But as usual, man, I love y'all. Thanks for subscribing to my page. Shout out to my Instagram gang, We Bleed Green, we_bleed_green. The Twitter page, We Bleed Green 84. Facebook page, I Bleed Eagles Green. You know what I'm saying, we're gonna keep doing this.